Hey folks, Logan Moser with Dream Guitars, and this is a first in the shop, and I dare say I hope it is not the last. This is our first collaboration with Rory Dowling of Taran Guitars for a Dream Guitars build, and yeah, it's an incredible piece. We pretty much said, you know, do the absolute best you can. Render the finest guitar you can, go for it, carte blanche. And yeah, they more than delivered. It's the Orval body, which is a fairly big box. 12 fret neck with a multi-scale setup, African blackwood back and sides, of course my favorite, Italian spruce on top, and a ton of really gorgeous upgrades and appointments that just set this thing apart from the crowd, which we will get into, frankly. So bear with me, we have a fair bit of things to talk about on this guitar. But let's go ahead and start talking about the voice for a second. This thing really does this really cool thing. Okay, you have a strong fundamental, so note clarity and separation is really pronounced and distinct. But there's also this beautiful lushness in the overtone camp. So it's fascinating. You have like, you know, quickness, but also lovely lush decay at the same time. So it seems to work well for pretty much whatever you want to do. You know, you can let big chords ring out, or you can play, you know, more quick stuff, or just a note or two at a time kind of thing, and you get this just exquisite clarity and depth and nuance at the same time. And I don't know how those dudes do it, but I'm glad that they're doing it, frankly. Yeah. So let's go ahead and get into it for a little bit. There we go. I think it's so good. So, Orval body size, Italian spruce on top, master grade, of course. Now we have African blackwood in several places, not just for the back and sides. The bridge is also African blackwood, and I believe there's some blackwood elsewhere too. But anyways, that looks so good. The strings are resonating just from me talking at this thing, which that's always so cool. Cutaway in this guy, of course, and we did opt for a sound port, so you can hear yourself just a smidge better as well. A couple of the things, we have this really gorgeous bevel here, which has like a Ryan-style termination up here, and a little more like Alaskan termination at the bottom down there. And it just looks so cool. I love how the figuring of the wood comes through. And they do this cool thing with hot sand where it sort of like scorches the wood to create this sort of like a natural sunburst gradient effect. So you'll see that. It's also here. You'll see that especially with the headstock veneers. So really cool stuff. Anyways, I'll pivot over here to the African blackwood for the sides, and you'll also notice that, well, hopefully you can tell, the back is quite domed on this guitar, so which is sort of reminiscent of like Stefan Sobel's instruments. So the depth here and the depth here are quite different things. So even though it is a bigger box, your arm is pretty easy to get around it by virtue of that doming on the back and on the top. And then I'll pivot back over to this side actually to mention that we have 22 karat gold position markers on the side, and then that ties in with the gold Scheller tuners and also with the gold foil on the inside of the guitar, which you can see by virtue of the sound port, which they pretty much have layered over the kerfing. So you have sort of this gold exterior, gold interior kind of conversation, which is just really cool. And then coming onto the back, here is that African blackwood that I do so adore. Certainly some master grade stuff. That is, oh, so pretty. And a little bit lighter too. In the right light, you can actually see some of the grain, which is challenging for blackwood. This is more of that kind of burned finish that they do, which just looks so dang cool. I love how the grain comes through. That's awesome. So coming up the neck, it is a 12 fret neck, and the material is actually Scottish walnut, which is an incredibly rare material. And you know, Rory has been able to acquire a little bit of it, and I'm so glad he got to use it here for this particular guitar. I love the coloration. Frankly, that light but not too light transition from that super dark African blackwood up to here, and then back to the darkness again as we get the back strap from the backplate veneer, and you'll see. It just looks so good. I love the figuring, and the book matching just looks so good. And then here's again that kind of that burnt sand technique. So you have this darker gradient into this lighter coloration up here. And while we're at it, we'll go ahead and mention again these are gold Scheller tuners, and I'm pretty sure these are blackwood buttons. Yeah. So at the head plate, same thing. Book match with the T there, which just looks so good. And then the let's see, it's about 25.6, to 25 inches for the multi-scale setup. 7th fret is the vertical fret. And we have gold Evo fret wire on this creature with semi-hemispherical fret ends as well. So it just feels really smooth in hand, and yeah. So it's pretty much fantastic. Pretty much it's kind of like as close as you're going to get to a perfect guitar, at least that I've seen in a good long while. So, and here, if you want to learn more about Terran, we would love to chat. Give us a shout. Cheers.